Okay, this next part of my life I'm calling the Big Pig Adventures. Many of you know that my dad went into partners with Mr. Egbert. He was a union representative at Kennecott Copper and had some money, and somehow, when my dad was at Bunker Feed there in Vineyard, they got together and decided to start raising champion Duroc hogs. Mr. Egbert bought purebred pigs from Iowa and so on, and brought them into Utah and bred them and raised piglets and so on. And so anyway, I know the video must be pausing a little bit here and there. Um, Stephen and I mostly, Blake some, helped Dad a lot in the little old broken down barn they had rented to start raising hogs. We learned a lot. We learned about the circle of life. We saw baby piglets come into the world, and we saw how uh, the sows had got bred and had piglets, and raising them, taking them to market. But the main thing we did since we were young, I think that was a good marketing strategy, is Dad and Mr. Egbert had myself and my brother Stephen show the hogs at the Utah State Fair, the Ogden, it was the Golden Spike livestock show or something like that, and other places. And we really did have and presented the hogs very well. We won grand champions quite often at the Golden Spike livestock show. I won grand champion. I don't remember what Stephen did, but I was interviewed by Bob Welty. Any of you old people who grew up in Utah knew that he was a TV personality. He did the weather for KSL Channel 5 for years and years and years. So that was kind of cool. And we won other championships, I guess, grand champions in other places. Our cousins, when they'd come visit, would come to the farm with us. And for the last 50 years, every time I saw one of the Harmon cousins, I don't know if the Danas came down or not, they would say, "Oh, yeah, I remember you and Stephen taking us down to the farm and showing us the hogs." And the most vivid memory was we would get them to pee on the fence, the electric fence. We used a 12-volt electric fence in certain places throughout the farm to keep the hogs inside, and we found out if you peed on it, it grounded, and it gave you quite a shock in your private parts. So they remember that. We used to ride the young pigs, kind of like a horse or a bucking bronco or whatever, and we do that and this. But we spent a lot of time with Dad there on the farm, and then it continued on to Spanish Fork. And then when Dad sold the dairy farm, we built a really state-of-the-art farrowing house up on the hill, and I remember helping Dad mix by hand with a mixer concrete to pour the floors and the trenches for the manure and so on, and pour the pads with the electric heaters in the concrete to keep the newborn piglets warm in the winter time, and so on. And it was quite a business there. In later years, when Dad came to visit us, Dad and Mom came to visit us in Missouri when I was at the Northeast Missouri State, or Truman University now. I was working on my doctorate at the University of Missouri, and I had to go down to a class during the week, and it was about a 100-mile drive. Anyway, Dad went with me, and we hung out and we talked, and I asked him, I said, "Of all the things you've done in life, what did you enjoy the most?" And he said, "Running the hog farm." And it was long hours, it was stinky, it was this, it was that. And I said, why? And he said, because it was my own business and I could run it on my own. Well, not really that, but that I could do as I think it should be done and to see the success that I had on my own. So that was the best job he ever had. And for me, during my life, running companies, being responsible for the overall operation of the company, either working for someone or doing it on your own, was also the greatest business experience I ever had. So that's the pig story, the big pig story. I hope you enjoyed it.